PocaTV, Wenzzzday. Hi, everybody. How are you today? I am Poca. Look, it even says so on my shirt, embroidered by Mom. Thank you for that, Mom. Poca stands for People of Common Attitude, which is you and me. Otherwise, we wouldn't be spending time together right now. Now, would we? So this is the PocaTV Wenzzzday Ting. Happens every Wednesday, hence the name. It is the 34th edition. Hooray for PocaTV. But the Wenzzzday Ting is really not the only program I do. On the last Friday of every month, I do what I call PocaTV Live, in which I talk with one of my fabulous friends all across the globe who do work that benefits you and me. And this coming last Friday of the month, I will be talking to somebody who will explain everything about AI to me. He's my Dutch friend, Shanai Gibriab. I'll be telling you more about him when the time comes. But right now, it's Wednesday, so it's a Wenzzzday Ting. And today, I bring you a message of hope. A hope for change. A change we all need. So what is it I'm talking about? Well, I am talking about American POLITRIXX. Do they herald that change is the big question. And are we optimistic with the way things are going? But first, what the hell is happening on that side of the Atlantic? Can we even keep up with what's going on in the United States of America right now? I really can't, which is why I am going to try to put things in order for myself. What happened when? Why did it happen? What were the consequences? And in the end, maybe I'll know what to expect once the election comes in November. We can only hope, which is what I started out with. This is going to be a message of hope. Before I get into the nitty-gritty, let me see who is with me already. It is my good friend Jaap Waverijn. He says it in Dutch, which he's very much entitled to do because he is Dutch. He says, I am so curious to what this broadcast will bring him when it comes to the news about the United States elections. He also says the first female Black president would be wonderful. Well, let's see about that, Jaap. I don't know. We don't know. We're here in the Netherlands and we follow the news. So let's see what this program brings us. Who else is there? It is good old DJ Conscious. He hopes to be back next week. Meanwhile, wishing me a great show. Thank you, DJ. Yes, I do like it when you join me on the Wenzzzday Ting because it's easier to talk with somebody than to talk with a camera. And also, it's great when we have two subjects instead of one. So hoping, fingers crossed, that you can join me again next week on the Wenzzzday Ting. What does he also say? He says, both sides of the Atlantic, UK almost broken. Yes, the UK is almost broken, as are the Netherlands, but it does all have to do with what happens there in the United States, because as we all know, they run the world, whether we like it or not. So anything goes wrong there, we're gonna copy here. And that's why we are in the trouble we're in right now. Also watching already is my greatest sister, Adrienne. Hi there, Adrienne. We saw each other earlier today, and now I'm here and you're sitting at home watching me. Isn't life strange that way? So yeah, I'm going to do an immediate disclaimer because I'm talking about stuff that really does not regard me. I'm a Dutch citizen. I live in the Netherlands and I live in Jamaica. I really have nothing to do on paper with the United States. I've also had many American friends all through my life. None of them are implied in anything I will say here today because they are all very reasonable people, talented people whom I love very much and even admire because some of them grew up to do great stuff that, I've shared on PocaTV Live, like I was telling you, my fabulous friends across the globe. Many of them are Americans. So none of what I say today has anything to do with you people, the people I actually know. This is just me wondering about that country that the whole world looks up to. the land of the free and the home of the brave and all of that they sing about in their anthem. But we haven't been seeing so much of that lately now, haven't we? I mean, lately, what am I talking about? It's been years and years since any of us recognized the United States, compared to what we knew of that country all the time. To my friends watching, my American friends, I do wonder, do you realize the impact of what your country has on the rest of us? And will you take that on board when you go to the ballot on November 5th? That's it. That's all I'm going to say to my friends. So this whole, what shall I say, chaos, that's the only thing I can come up with. This whole chaos started, of course, in 1776, but we're not taking it that far. The recent chaos started during the general election debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden on June the 27th of this year. It was painful to watch. Yeah, incoherent and bullying Trump, intimidated and confused Biden. There's no other way to put it. It was the start of what really, of what was to come, of the chaos I keep mentioning. Whatever happened after that, one thing was clear. That was the day that marked the day that the Democrats started talking to Joe Biden about, is he really the right person to run for office again at the new elections? Because they were worried about his physical and his mental health. And rightly so. He's 81. So give the guy a break. It's about time he, sat down with his lovely wife and enjoyed life. But no, Joe Biden was very unambiguous in saying, I'm not doing that. I'm going to be on that ballot. They will be able to vote for me. And if I win, I'll do my second term. That's what he said. And we really can't blame him, because this is what he's been living up to for, over 50 years. And in all those 50 years, Joe Biden really, really did give his best to his country. And to have it taken away from him by his own people, that must have been very harsh. I can understand that. So that was the start of it all. And here we have Donald Trump in a jubilant mood after, all this happened, because of course he took himself to be the winner of that debate. Nobody can tell anybody else what it is that was said in that debate, because frankly, both of them were totally incoherent. That's the word that I keep coming up with. Trump was the stronger, coherent guy, and Biden was the weaker, incoherent guy. But Trump took it that he was the winner of that debate, so he was walking on a cloud, and he was going happily towards November 5th, very sure that it was going to be very, very easy for him to win the elections. So that's his mood at the time. But then that shocking event happened live on television all over the world. We watched it happen before our very eyes on July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania. This is how it looked, and I'm showing you also what Trump said about it afterwards. Here we go.
Take a look at what happened. Let me begin this evening by expressing my gratitude to the American people for your outpouring of love and support following the assassination attempt at my rally on Saturday. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened. And you'll never hear it from me a second time, because it's actually too painful to tell. Behind me And to the right was a large screen that was displaying a chart. In order to see the chart, I started to, like this, turn to my right. When I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear, I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood, just absolutely blood all over the place.
His hand was covered in blood. There was blood all over the place. People, show me the blood. Show me the blood on the hand. Where is the blood on the hand? Yes, there's blood on his ear and on his cheek, but where is the blood on his hand? And where is the blood that's all over? I'm not seeing it. Are you? Let me know in the comment section if you see the blood on Donald Trump's hand. Let's go closer, because this is a shot that was taken while he was still down. And yes, I see a tiny speck on his middle finger of something reddish. But that to me is not my hand was covered with blood and there was blood all over the place. That's all I'm saying. Unless you disagree with me, in that case, let me know. In fact, if you want to be part of this program and you know, negate everything I say here, you're most welcome. Just scan this lovely little code that I've made especially for this occasion. It will take you backstage to my PocaTV Wenzzzday studio, and you can just log in there, put in your name and everything, and wait for me to pull you up on screen and we can have a chat. You can tell me about the blood that you saw on the picture. And if you don't want to do that with your phone, which actually I prefer that you do it on your laptop, you can head over to this URL, bit.ly/Wenzzzday34, because it is the 34th edition of the Wenzzzday Ting. It is case sensitive, remember that. This link will also take you backstage, and you can just wait there until I will pull you up on the screen. I hope I will remember to put up these codes later on in the program. And alternatively, if you don't want to be on the show with me, you can just send your comments. They are most welcome. And the comments I actually see here in my online studio are the ones that you put on YouTube or on Facebook. So if you want to be part of the show, head over to PocaTV on either one and share your thoughts there. So yeah, this whole rally thing turned out to be quite the thing. It was the news of the day. Like I was saying, it was on July the 13th. And according to the news, it turned out that Trump was hit by an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. The type of rifle that Americans have been talking about. Is this a rifle that people should be walking the streets with? Well, they still think people should be walking the streets with the rifles. And this rifle grazed Trump's ear, is what we were told. But there are many things that are kind of unclear after that day. But first, before I get to that, there's this thing about the imagery. Everybody knows this, what we can call now iconic picture of Donald Trump holding up his fist saying, "Fight, fight, fight," after he had told his Secret Service people to wait so he could stand still and put up his fist, which they obliged. Kind of strange in a situation where somebody is just been shot at. They were there on the platform, and any of them could have been taken out easily. But what struck me about this picture immediately is the resemblance to that historical picture you see on the right, which is the picture of when the United States planted their flag on the Japanese island Iwo Jima in February of 1945, which was before the end of the World War II. The Americans invaded that island, planted their flag, and this picture is what we call a real historical picture. Look at the resemblance. We see somebody's fist up in the air. We see somebody crouching, like the Secret Service woman in the front. We see the flag, of course, waving. It's uncanny. But imagery is very important, and everybody agrees that the picture of Trump that day is already the picture of the year 2024. I don't know what to think of that. Maybe somebody in the comment section will tell me what they think of it. It's Donna telling me she's here. Hi, Donna. Looking forward to your input today, talking about American POLITRIXX. And I'm promising you, I know you love cats. Cats will even feature in this program, Donna. So that's me telling you to stay and watch. So where am I in the program? I'm telling you, there are so many questions to ask. I'm only going to share 3 of my own questions with you. And I'm telling you, I don't have the answers. But question number 1 is, why was the security service so very slow and so very inadequate? There's tons and tons of videos of people telling Secret Service agents, there is a guy on the roof. There's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And nobody ran up that roof. I just saw a video the other day of a building right next to the roof where the gunman was lying on. There was a window looking down on that roof. There were people inside that room looking down on that roof, seeing the guy. Nobody did anything. When the shots were fired, I saw another little video. Shots were fired. I see all kinds of security people sauntering towards the gate. Nobody running, no panic, no nothing. Taking their time, almost having a swig of their Coca-Cola on their way to, if you ask me, a very important place to be. It didn't happen. What we do know is the head of the Secret Service took a fall. Incidentally, a woman. I'm not saying there's any correlation, but it just kind of struck me, a woman. The second question I really want to ask is, where are the doctor's reports on the wounds that Donald Trump sustained? As far as we know, there was one doctor who spoke out on the wounds, saying, yes, there was a lot of blood and Donald Trump was hit by a bullet. But that doctor was Ronnie Jackson, who's a great friend of Donald Trump's. Donald Trump often talks about Ronnie Jackson, and he calls him his great friend. So I don't know about Ronnie Jackson. Where are the other reports? I ask you. And third, and really that's the question that hit me immediately while I was watching this happen live and on social media and on television, why is there only one camera shot we see of the incident? According to Trump, there were thousands of people there. You and I know that when we go to an event, everybody's holding up his phone, filming every little thing. We only have one shot of what happened. You know, the shot we all know, the shot I just showed you. Okay, I stretched it a bit so it didn't look quite like the original, but it's the same shot. It's one camera shot we saw. Why is that? Somebody tell me, because this is the question that is really keeping me up at night. I don't know why the thousands of people there, even the ones behind Donald Trump, even the ones facing the gunman, why did nobody else film this? You tell me that. I don't know. I don't know. And I really don't know what to think about it either. If you know what you're thinking about it, you tell me. DJ Conscious asks us, how did the ear heal so very quickly? Well, I don't know, DJ, but it certainly healed quite quickly. The bandage came off during the Republican convention, which was right after this happened. And we never heard about the wound anymore. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm not the only one asking questions, because right away, the memes, they kind of came in like a tsunami of memes. I'm just going to show you a couple of them. There we have Donald Trump like Vincent van Gogh, who cut off his own ear, but who actually cut off the whole ear, which would then, validate having a huge bandage like you see on that picture. The middle picture shows us Donald Trump shooting a gun, but the nozzle is pointing towards him, implying, if you ask me, that this was a setup by Trump. I don't know. Who am I to judge? And the third little one is Donald Trump in a hospital getting a band-aid on his little ear, while on the other side of the curtain, America is dying and nobody's taking care of that. So these are a couple of the memes. There's more. There is more. Donald Trump became the always man overnight, because the best thing to keep your blood where you want it to be is to use always. Women use these things all the time. We use them in a different way, but they also work for your ear, people. They do. The middle one, I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to mean. I think it's something that you could buy, like a little Trump thingy that you stuck on your ear. And the one on the bottom right explains, according to the maker of the meme, why there was redness on the face of Donald Trump, but we're not seeing any of it on his hands. It's Heinz ketchup. Maybe it is, maybe it wasn't. Who knows? So, but I don't know. I just don't know. All I know is that in the middle of all this chaos, like I was saying right now, the RNC, the Republican National Convention, took place on July 15th, 2 days after the shooting. And what is the RNC? That's when the delegates of the United States Republican Party officially select their candidates for presidency and for vice presidency. And that was the day that Donald Trump presented his running mate, a venture capitalist, an author, senator of Ohio, and now the candidate for the vice presidency of the United States. Now, what can I tell you about Vance? J.D. Vance used to be a staunch opponent of Donald Trump's. He just didn't like the guy. He hated everything that Donald Trump ever did until he did a turnaround. And what happened? Donald Trump endorsed this guy, Vance, for the position of senator of Ohio, which he actually gained in, what year was it? In 2022. And that was the moment that suddenly J.D. Vance and Donald Trump became chums. Vance is what you call a right-wing populist who describes himself as a post-liberal. We will look up the word in the dictionary. He is against abortion. He is against the regulation of guns. He changed his name not once, but twice. He thought he was gay when he was young, but now he is totally against anything remotely linked to LGBTIQ+. And this is not my words. This is his own words. He wrote them down in his memoirs, which became a best-selling book called The Hillbilly Elegy. And that was filmed for Netflix by a very famous director, Ron Howard, who we all know from Happy Days. Ron Howard always makes the biggest movies. So J.D. Vance, his life story is now on Netflix, and you can buy his book. He said these things about himself. It is not my words. So there's a whole lot going on in a very short space of time, if you ask me. What we now have is two men who don't particularly like each other, who are now joined at the hip until the elections. And if they win for 4 years and maybe beyond that, they are joined at the hip and they are committed to each other, is what I say. Who knows? Who knows how that will end? And meanwhile, sad to say, there was Joe Biden, not feeling very well. In fact, not showing his face, hiding away. Everything but his ear was doing poorly. And this is halfway through the month of July. He is the president of the United States and will remain so until the new one is inaugurated in January of 2025. But this is the man now kind of forlorn. I have no other word for that. More and more people of his own party are at his throat for him to, denounce the candidacy of the presidency. Like I was saying, he's 81. He's often confused. Very recently, before this whole thing happened, he called the Ukrainian president Zelensky Putin, and he called his own vice president Kamala Harris Trump. So that, to say the least, is worrying. And on top of all of that, right in this period, he got COVID, not for the first time, not for the second time, for the third time in 2 years' time. Poor old Joe Biden. One has to feel for him. I feel for him. I really have to say that I feel for the man, because he, as a person, I don't, as a politician, I'm going to stay away from that. But as a person, he's likable. He's nice. He likes to dance. He likes ice cream. He's like a regular guy. And most of all, he gave 50 years of his life to his country. And his only hope ever was to become president. Well, he is president now, but he will not be the next president of the United States. So it was all too much for the poor guy. And on what day was it? Sunday, the 21st of July, he announced that he would no longer be the candidate for presidency for his party in the next elections. He did say he would like to end his term, like I was saying, till January 2025, which is only a couple of months away, and that will be it. So what happens next? Well, in comes Kamala Harris, the current vice president of the United States. She comes in with her energy and her gender and her ethnicity. Her mother is Indian, her father is Jamaican, totally different from everything we've ever seen running for president in the United States. And there she was. Let me see, where am I? Here. Look at her resume. I mean, if she were a white guy, we'd call it damn impressive. She was courtroom prosecutor before she became district attorney. And after that, she became the attorney general. Then she made it to senator and to vice president of the United States. And yes, she is now officially the presidential candidate, and she will run against Donald Trump on November 5th. Her path in life has been, what shall we say, covered in cobblestones of critique, which very often happens when Black women operate at a very high level in a white environment, a white male environment. So as an outsider, I have no way of telling you about her politics. I don't know if she will be up to the task. But I do know that she's getting more criticism than she would if she were a white man. And the question is there an alternative? Is there any other option that the Democrats could have put forward? If so, where's all that talent? Why haven't we been hearing about that new talent that would come and fill Joe Biden's shoes right now? We never heard of anybody. So this is their choice, and they're running with it. And once again, let me tell you, I am not an American, so I won't be choosing. I don't even know if a president really has all the power that we say they have. I'm sure you must have watched that Ace television series, The West Wing, in which they show us exactly how the White House is run, not by the president, whoever that president may be. It is run by a group of people who are there. They run the White House. They take the big decisions. They call it advice to the president, but actually they take the big decisions and they pull all the political strings, regardless of who the president on duty is. So I don't know if it really matters who will be the next president of the United States. I think the real power lies in who gets to nominate the people in Congress and in the Senate. But even that is run by those people in the background. I'm sure you know that. But we have to be honest. Since Kamala Harris has been on the scene, center stage, we might add, it's like there is a new lightness and brightness in American politics that we'd forgotten could even be there. It's like a huge, dull, heavy weight has been lifted, and gray clouds have scattered. That's the way I see it. It's almost as if I recognize the times that were in the past. It's very exciting to watch even how any American in a position of great power can string together 3 sentences without fumbling the way I do. But I'm not scripted. I'm just, talking to my camera here, and I'm not in any position of power. But we've gotten used to presidents and president-elects and all kinds of top people in the United States fumbling when they speak, not coming up with a proper sentence, not finishing a thought, not being clear. And suddenly we see this bundle of energy, and I must say it is good to see. It warms my heart. That's all I can say, because it's been so long since we've seen anything of this caliber. So all of this was making her opponent, Donald Trump, very nervous, very, very nervous indeed, as many political commentators have been explaining to us time and time again. Here's one of them.
A black woman who takes no shit to Donald Trump is his kryptonite. He is flailing and scared. I mean, this is the same convicted felon who is backing out of the debate that he already agreed to because he is so deeply afraid of being called out to his face by a prosecutor who put fraudsters and sex predators just like him behind bars. Which is why when Donald Trump sees a moment like this, he knows how much trouble he would be in.
As many of you know, before I was elected vice president and before I was elected a United States Senator, I was an elected Attorney General and an elected District Attorney. And before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. So in those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
You got to give it to her. That is stylish, and that is smart, and that is funny. I had a big laugh when I saw it. I have to be honest about that. Once again, it's none of my business, but I'm a global citizen, and I have a right to my own opinions that I can share on my own YouTube channel that you can watch only if you want to. There you go. That's how I see it. So by now, as Mr. Cohen was explaining to us, Donald Trump is in a panic because he thought that it was going to be really, really easy for him. He thought it was going to be a walk in the park once he knew that Kamala Harris was going to be his competition. He thought it was going to be even easier for him to beat her than it would for him to beat Joe Biden. But no such thing. All it did to him was make him more rude and more insulting than he already was, because, of course, Kamala Harris is a woman. So that's for him, that is fodder. He can just, call her any name. What did he call her? He called her Laughing Kamala because he insists on mispronouncing her name. Laughing Kamala and Lion Kamala. And he even spelled out how you spell laughing and lion. But she didn't care. She was picking up speed. And she was getting endorsements left and right from high up people within her party, but also outside. Big names in the United States were saying, yes, let's go for Kamala. Now I'm saying Kamala. Let's go for Kamala Harris because we need anything but Trump. That's what many people were saying. So let me see what... Speaking of speed is what I was saying. And according to this cartoonist, or whatever it is, an AI artist, let's call him that, she can even handle a shark, when everybody knows that Donald Trump has said repeatedly that the most terrifying thing on the face of this earth would be a shark. And of course, batteries too, which is why the shark has batteries on his back. Kamala doesn't mind. She's riding the shark, and she's powered the shark with batteries. And Trump is running. That's what this cartoon is telling me. And the cartoon is used in the campaign for Harris for president. In an attempt to smother her success, Donald Trump accepted the invitation to attend the annual gathering of the National Association of Black Journalists. The people he fears most, we got to give it to him. He accepted their invitation, and he went there, and he was interviewed by ABC reporter, journalist Rachel Scott. And she started out with quoting him, stuff he has said over the years, and pointing out stuff he had done or had not done. And of course, she pointed out the 34 convictions he recently got in court. That, of course, really, really irritated him. And then this happened.
Sir, do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear,
there's a lot to unpack here. Does Donald Trump not know about mixed blood? I mean, he's mixed blood. He's German and he's Scottish. That's two different bloods. I am exactly Kamala Harris's mix. I got Indian blood. I got black blood. Sure, I got a little Dutch blood in me as well, and maybe some other stuff as well. People can actually have mixed blood, but he doesn't seem to realize. So this was his attempt to tell the world that Kamala Harris is now identifying as black so that she could get the black vote. I don't know if she'll get the black vote. There's many, many Americans, black Americans, who are going to vote for Trump. Don't ask me why, but it's true. Many, many African Americans are going to vote for Donald Trump. So it's not a given that putting a black woman on the seat will get you the black vote. I don't know why people come up with that racist thought. It's a racist thought. Black people vote for white people all the time. Nobody talks about that. So why can't it be the other way around? Anyway, that didn't do him much good, and his ratings suddenly, going down. And also, things are really turning upside down for Donald Trump by this time. We're talking end of July. Now, suddenly, he is the oldest presidential candidate in the United States ever, which he always used against Biden, and now it's turning against him. He is 78. And even worse than that, big shots in the Republican Party are turning against Donald Trump. He never thought this would happen. They're not saying it behind his back. They're saying it out publicly. A couple of examples: the mayor of Mesa in Arizona and a former state representative of that same state. And this is what they had to say about Donald Trump and the coming elections.
And I think the time has come for us as Arizona Republicans to admit the obvious and to start saying the quiet part out loud, which is that our party's nominee is not qualified for office, and that we need to vote for the adult in the room, and that is Kamala Harris.
It is time to put partisan loyalties aside and vote for the leadership that will truly represent the people we want to be in the eyes of the world.
Well, that's kind of important, and that's the reason I'm even doing this program, because it is about the eyes of the world. The United States have always put themselves on the top of everything that goes on in the world. So if you do that for years on end, that's how people are going to look at you. People are going to look at you, even if they're not Americans, as the greatest country on earth, because that's what you've been telling us, and that's what you keep proving to yourself time and time again, and to the rest of the world as well. So if these Republicans are now calling out other Republicans to vote for the opposition, for Kamala Harris, because they say their own candidate is not fit for office, what does that tell us? What does it tell Trump? What does it tell my American friends? What does it tell you? Let me know in the comment section what it tells you, that Republicans are now openly, and these are big shot people, openly saying Let's vote for the other person. Let's vote for Kamala Harris. Comments coming in. Let's see. Donna says, Kamala Harris is socially white until conveniently politically black. You know what, Donna? People have said that about me as well. I don't know. I don't know the woman, but I know this is something that people say about her. Socially white, I guess that means she lives among white people and works among white people and maybe even has white friends. Is that wrong? Again, I do the same. I live in a white country. My work is in the center of white power, or at least media power. I'm black. I've learned to code switch. Is that wrong? I ask you. You saying she conveniently turned politically black. I don't know if that's the case, because I've seen many interviews with her where she talks about her heritage. So I don't know if it's politically black, but I hear what you're saying. And what else are you saying? She may not get the black vote because she has a very damning record when it comes to the black community. Her record as a attorney general is dismal. She locked up black people to provide prison labor. This is a story that has been going on about Kamala Harris for a long time. It has been debunked. It has been debunked. It is just not true. So people keep, something goes viral at some point and people just latch onto it. And before you know it, it's the truth. She did not lock up black people to provide prison labor. Donna, I will send you some links. It is not true. So what more does Donna say? She says, what it tells me is that Harris is a default. Not that's what, a default what? A default what? What do you mean by socially white, Donna? Because you're saying that's not what you meant by socially white. I really want to know, because once again, I've been told that. I've been told that by black people in the Netherlands. You are what they call me, a bounty. You are brown on the outside and white on the inside. It's actually very confusing, but also very insulting. I've always taken that as a big insult, and I've made sure that I don't linger with those people that called me that. So we'll see. Donna says, no, Poca, check my facts. I did. Otherwise, I wouldn't say it so adamantly. That story about her locking up black people for cheap labor, it is not true. We will talk about this outside of this program. Moving on, but please keep those comments going. Where am I? Kamala Harris, growing in popularity, growing in the polls, even growing at the bookmakers. And interestingly, it's the TikTok generation that latched on to Kamala Harris and kind of adopted her. And they make little videos to give her campaign a boost, because every little video on TikTok these days goes viral. I don't know how they do that. I need to learn from them. So what a lot of young people are doing these days is anything that Kamala has tripped over her own words in public and that's been used against her, they have taken that and made it into a video that goes immediately viral. And I've got a couple of examples of that. Here's the first one.
If I do debate President Trump, I'm sure it'll be a competitive face-off where either one of us could end up on top.
Really?
No, I'd wipe the floor with him.
I don't understand these videos. I don't have to. I'm an old woman. But what they do, these videos, is young people seem to like them. They seem to love them. I'm going to show you another one. He's another one. This is, see for yourself.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
I must say this is funny, and I know because I I edit videos. This little video must have taken days and days to edit. So Zio Tunes, big up yourself. And what it's done, it's brought this whole election under the attention of younger people, and it's working. It's working because they are flocking towards Kamala Harris. In that sense, it's working. It's working for her. In the middle of all this, by this time, Donald Trump does not understand what's even going on, but there's more to come. And remember, Donna, I promised you that there would be cats. Well, there are cats because there was Catgate. An old interview from 2021 surfaced. An interview that J.D. Vance, the running mate of Donald Trump, gave to conservative political commentator Tucker Carlson. It resurfaced and it caused a big, big stir. What is it that J.D. Vance said? Well, I'm going to show you.
We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made. And so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it?
I wonder what he means by that. Why does not having children mean you don't have a stake in the future? Let's be totally frank. I don't have cats. I actually don't like cats, but I also don't have children. And this was a very, very, real choice I made. I knew that the kind of life I want to live, where work is my major thing and doing stuff like PocaTV, Wenzzzday, Ting is very important to me. Travel is really important in my life. Living on two sides of the Atlantic is the major thing in my life. You can't do that with children. So some choices have to be made in life. And this is a choice I made, and many, many other people made the same choice. And why is it that any man thinks he has the right to tell a woman whether or not she should or should not have children? Why is it every woman is always asked? Almost the second question that you get when you meet somebody is, do you have children? None of your business. None of your business. What if I'd really wanted children and I just couldn't have them? And you come and ask me that question. Imagine the pain you dredge up every time. It's a rude question. It's a question nobody ever asks to any man. I recently was guest in a theater show here in the Netherlands about this subject, about women choosing for whatever reason not to have children, and the stuff that they hear on a daily basis and the way they are looked upon in the world just because they have no children. I am more than a womb, you know. I may be called a woman, but that's it. There's a B in there. The B of, I'm going to come up with a really smart thing. The B of bully to you, none of your business. Anyway, I'm not the only one who thinks that way, because I said it caused a stir. Well, that's really, really not doing it any credit. What it did, it caused a cyclone. TV shows were all over it. Online talk shows were all over it. Movie stars like Whoopi Goldberg and Jennifer Aniston, both childless, they were all over it. They were really, really pissed off with J.D. Vance once this video surfaced. Feminists had to say about it. Philosophers had to say about it. Male and female philosophers, I might add. People in the street, everybody had an opinion about this childless cat ladies quote by J.D. Vance. Poems were made, songs were made, like this one that's in my head ever since I've been editing it. It is by the folk duo, what's their names? Kathy Fink and Marcy Marxer. Let me tell you one thing. Hell hath no fury like a cat lady scorned. Here they are.
Childless cat ladies. Childless cat ladies
ladies creeping around, nothing but cats on our minds. Cats running round with their tails in the air, they're flashing their feline behinds. Childless cat ladies, young and old, cats are our pleasure and joys. They warm up our laps when the weather is cold, and we spend on tuna and toys. Cats can't vote, but we sure can. They need us to do it, and how? We'll take our cats to the polling booth, and we'll vote with a mighty meow. Cats can't vote, but we sure can. They need us to do it, and how? We'll take our cats to the polling booth, and we'll vote with a mighty meow. We'll vote with a mighty meow. We'll vote with a mighty meow.
Childless cat ladies. Yeah. Somebody better bring a lot of cat litter to every voting booth in the United States on November 5th, because all those disgruntled childless cat ladies are going to bring their cats to the polling booth, and they are going to vote with a meow, is what these cat ladies tell us. I really would like to be there with my camera to show it to the world once that happens. So they are not the only ones. There's this big thing going on, because the Swifties of the world are now united against J.D. Vance, united in anger. Why? Because the #1 global influencer in the world, Taylor Swift, is a self-proclaimed cat lady. Last year, she was made the Time magazine Person of the Year, not because she has cats, which she does, but because she, by her lonesome, can cause an inflation in any country just by organizing a couple of concerts there. This has been totally, somebody put this all in numbers. I don't know the numbers, but it turns out that wherever Taylor Swift goes, numbers go up, inflation goes up, prices go up, everything goes up. Taylor Swift loves her cat. There she is on the cover of Time magazine with one of her 3 cats. This one is called Benjamin Button. There they are, the 2 of them. She has 2 other cats, and she even asked herself on TikTok, having 1 cat is cool, having 2, having 3 makes you a cat lady. So I'm a cat lady. That's what Taylor Swift said. The question is, will she, like so many other celebrities in the United States right now, endorse one of the 2 candidates? Will she put all that Swiftie power she has behind one of the candidates? Will she help one of them become the next president of the United States? That's a huge question. We don't know. She hasn't made it clear so far. So let's see, what is this? She didn't like what J.D. Vance said, but there you have it. So if she does endorse, something tells me it will not be the Trump and Vance combination that she will be endorsing. But we'll have to wait and see. We don't know if she'll even do that. Talking about endorsements and support by really A-level celebrities, guess who has said even this week that she'll be giving $4 million to Kamala Harris's campaign? Nobody else but Simone Biles, the multiple gold medal winner, the Olympian athlete Simone Biles, who won so many hearts these past few weeks with her redemptive comeback to the Olympics. She reportedly said it's $4 million because that's $1 million for every medal that she won right now in Paris. With friends like Simone Biles, who will ever fear their foes, right? That's another thing to watch, Simone Biles endorsing this ticket. In the meantime, the Democrats' campaign machine is running overtime. There was the matter of Harris's running mate to be decided on, and it turned out to be quite a difficult choice for Kamala Harris. She said she had so many people to choose from, but all of them just didn't work out. I'm going to call a few names. The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, but he's from California, which is the state where Kamala Harris is from, so that would be kind of iffy. Then there's the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. I've seen her talk a couple of times. If it were me, I'd say make her the presidential candidate, but never mind, who am I? I'm not an American. And she could not be the running mate because, of course, she's a woman and many people in the world aren't ready for a vice president and a president to be a woman. Third person that everybody was talking about was Pete Buttigieg, the United States Secretary of Transportation. But Pete Buttigieg is gay, and there's even more people in the world who could not deal with a black woman, black/Indian, whatever you want to call her, and a gay man running the place. So she did not choose any of them. After very, very long deliberation, she chose Tim Walz. Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota. A man, like everybody says, with a global daddy image, but he was also in charge during the riots in Minneapolis, the capital of Minnesota, right after George Floyd got killed in the streets in 2020 by policemen. He received harsh criticism in the United States when that happened, especially from Republicans, for, as they said, letting Minnesota burn. And guess who was his harshest critic at the time? I'm going to give you 2 seconds to think. Who do you think was the harshest critic in 2020 of this vice presidential candidate for the Democrats? It was J.D. Vance. That name is popping up time and time again. Harris did choose him, and it turns out from what I'm reading that the Democrats are really happy with him and that he is welcome to be their vice presidential candidate. This is how Kamala announced him.
So, to those who know him best, Tim is more than a governor. To his wife, Gwen, he is a husband. To his kids, Hope and Gus, he is a dad. To his fellow veterans, he is Sergeant Major Walz. To the people of southern Minnesota, for 12 years, he was congressman. To his former high school students, he was Mr. Walz. And to his former high school football players, he was Coach. And in 91 days, the nation will know Coach Walz by another name, Vice President of the United States.
So that was the official introduction of Tim Walz as the running mate for Kamala Harris. This was the moment when Donald Trump and J.D. Vance started calling him Tampon Tim. They did that because Tim Walz is a person who said, you know what, there's a lot of young women in the United States who don't have money for their monthly sanitary napkins or their tampons. Let's find a way to offer that to them. That really didn't work well with many right-wing people in the United States. And he also, can you imagine, he also wants free lunches in school. And that really cannot be done. That's Marxist. That's Marxist is what the people say in the United States. I don't understand, because free lunches have been going on in France for years. And it's not just your little sandwich and your little carton of milk. In France, you get cooked meals. You get proper cooked meals. I think in English school, it happens in boarding schools. I don't know if it happens in day schools in England. We're talking about something like that in the Netherlands as well. I think it's very civilized to say not everybody has money for lunch. Not everybody has money for sanitary napkins and tampons. Let's see how we can help that segment of the population. I think that's the civilized thing to do, but I'm probably radically left, is what people will probably call me. In return, this man who seems to do a lot of laughing, like his mate Kamala Harris, they do a lot of laughing, maybe a little bit too much. We'll see. But he came up with the term, they're weird. And for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason that was a buzzword for days on end in the United States. The word weird, everything was weird. I don't know what to think of that. I don't know the man at all, except, from the George Floyd situation. So whatever anybody says about Tim Walz, it is obvious that he kind of spreads a friendly vibe, laughter, like I was saying. And I guess that is what we have been missing. We've been missing a little bit of warmth coming out of the United States for how many years? I'm saying 8 years. There's been only disaster coming out of the United States when it came to politics. And suddenly to have people laughing and being happy and being, like I was saying, energetic is kind of nice. And the other thing, anytime this man speaks in public, people just want to be with him and they want to hug him. And this is people of all kinds.
You might have seen a few people showed up in Philadelphia the other night. And then 10,000 plus walked into a field in western Wisconsin. And then on Wenzzzday, the largest crowd of the campaign showed up in Detroit, Michigan. But Arizona just couldn't leave it alone, could you? It's not as if anybody cares about crowd sizes or anything. So. Wow.
It is now law.
Get ready for the future. Making moves past yesterday. Get ready for the future.
Well, they do say that children, especially young children, are the best judges of character. And what we do see in this tiny little video is Tim Walz wanting to fist bump with the children and them wanting to hug them. That's all I'm saying. So where does this leave us now? Well, it's now 82 days till November the 5th, the day when the Americans will go to the ballot. So far, what we know, more young people have registered to go to the ballot than we are used to seeing. I think if anything good has come out of anything, that is the thing that will stick with me, because young people never go voting. And it's as if they don't realize it's their future we're talking about. So the fact that many more young people have been going to register to vote is something that makes me hopeful. Little story, Elon Musk, the owner of X, he promised 45 million a month to the Trump campaign, but then he withdrew the offer. But he withdrew it right after Donald Trump had, bigged him up publicly and glorified him at one of his rallies. That's when Elon Musk said, no, I'm not going to give you the 45 million a month. So there was a little tiff between the two. They seem to have put their differences aside now, because Elon Musk interviewed Donald Trump on X this past Monday. It was a live stream. And people, it was a technical shambles, really. I suggest Elon Musk, the man has money. Give me a call, Elon. Give me a call, because I am here by my own little lonesome, sitting in my little living room in the Netherlands, making this program. And I've been doing it for 4 years. And I'm not just doing audio like you did, Elon Musk. I'm showing videos. I'm showing pictures. I got comments coming in. And if anybody really, really, really wants to join your show, they can just, scan my little code and I will invite them to the studio and they can be part of this program. I've been doing this for 4 years, and so far, most of the programs come across exactly the way I have planned them, or maybe a little technical hitch, but nothing big like happened on your live stream. So Call me, Elon, is what I'm saying. During that interview, Trump really praised Elon Musk for firing almost everybody at Twitter at the time he bought Twitter and started X. Really, Donald Trump? You're going to praise somebody for firing everybody? That's how you want to run the United States? In that same interview, Donald Trump, he is 78 and he is the oldest presidential candidate ever in the United States. He kind of lost it because he called Ms. Harris Camilla all the time, not Kamala like he usually does. Now it's Camilla. And he also said that she looks like his wife, Melania. And she's very, very, very beautiful, is what Trump said about Kamala Harris on that same interview. Kamala Harris is on a high, is what we can deduct. I mean, we see her laughing, we see her happy, we see her buoyant, but she is getting a lot of flack, not only from people outside the party, but also from Democrats themselves. They say it's about high time that Kamala Harris gives a big interview to some big major outlet and give a press conference. You know, be there, be the politician that you are going to be, according to your words. Don't just be that laughing, dancing Indian black woman with a fantastic resume, I must once again emphasize, but be a politician, Kamala Harris, is what they're saying, and I guess I have to agree with that. For starters, she will be joining Donald Trump in a debate on ABC television, which will be on September 10th. We can hardly wait for that. As for interviews, she did give one really important interview last year and she survived it. So maybe that gives hope to her and to the rest of the Democrats. It was the interview she gave to Jeremiah.
You think this is the biggest interview you've done yet? Because you've done a lot.
I mean, the Vice President of the United States is kind of a big deal, so yeah. I was around 4 years old when I knew that I wanted to be a journalist. At what age did you fall in love with the law and politics?
I was very young. My parents were active in civil rights, and the heroes among the heroes of that movement were Thurgood Marshall and Charles Hamilton Houston and Constance Baker Motley. They were the lawyers who took the passion from the streets to the courtrooms to fight for equality and justice. And so I thought, okay, that's what I want to do.
So I'm 10 years old, and my parents always tell me that if I stay focused, work hard, and follow my passion, I can do whatever I want to do in life. All of the knowledge that you know now, what would you say to your 10-year-old self about pursuing your dreams?
Don't you hear no, that it can't be done, or nobody like you has done it, or oh, you're too young, or oh, they're not ready for you? Don't hear no, because you know my saying? I eat no for breakfast.
What would you say to the American people with all of this misinformation and controversies going on about rigged elections? What would you say to the American people out there that are not planning on going to the polls next year because they believe their vote doesn't count?
And that is such a good topic to raise. Your vote is your voice, and it's the way that we uphold our system of democracy, which is very special, but it's fragile. It will only be as strong as our willingness to fight for it.
What advice do you have to the kids that want to grow up and be president or vice president?
Follow your passion, because all said and done, if you are fortunate enough, you're gonna work very hard, and when you do the work that you enjoy doing, you do it well, and all the other things come.
Thank you so much for talking to me, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Isn't he precious?
Somebody bring me this little boy, Jeremiah. If ever my mother heart beat loudly, it was when I found out about this little boy, who is an absolutely great journalist, asking the proper questions, pulling the proper face, not taking any crap from anybody. And he does that in politics and he does it in sports. I want Jeremiah. Bring him to me. What a lovely little interview he did. And you can see that Kamala Harris was sweating, as I am indeed sweating today, because it's a very, very hot day here in the Netherlands. What am I seeing here? I see that Jaap Waverijn had to leave us. He had to go to the night shift. And he has left us. I'm sorry I missed your departure, Jaap. If ever you watch the end of the show, you'll know that I still said bye. I'm glad to see that DJ Conscious waved him out. And DJ also has another thing to say. What does he say? Musk has invited Kamala for an interview. Oh, has he? That's interesting. I hope that the live stream works, DJ, is all I can say. But you know what I just said? They can call me and we can even put some visuals on it. It doesn't have to be like some kind of weird radio situation. Call me, Musk, before you interview Kamala Harris. Almost reaching the end of the show. In all fairness, I have to tell you that young people did not only make videos for Kamala Harris, they also made videos for Donald Trump, which went equally viral. I'm going to share a gem of a couple of years ago with you, inspired by Donald Trump's inaugural visit to India. That was in February of 2020. And that's when he met the Indian Prime Minister, Narendra Modi. And Trump was really, really pleased because 100,000 people flocked to the venue where they held the Namaste Trump event. 100,000 people. He was beside himself with glee. The total population of India is 1.417 billion, but it would be very mean to point that out now, wouldn't it? Let's give the man the break that he had 100,000 people come to see him. And it sparked the inspiration for this little video of Trump going Bollywood. Wow, I want to be in it. I want to be in it.
मेरा चैन वैन सब उजड़ा जालिम नजर हटा ले मेरा चैन वैन सब उजड़ा जालिम नजर हटा ले बर्बाद हो रहे हैं जी बर्बाद हो रहे हैं जी तेरे अपने शहर वाले मेरा चैन वैन सब उजड़ा जालिम नजर हटा ले बर्बाद हो रहे हैं जी तेरे अपने शहर वाले हो मेरी अंगड़ाई न टूटे तू आजा मेरी अंगड़ाई न टूटे तू आजा कजरा रे दिल कारे कारे रहना कजरा रे दिल कारे कारे रहना.
Big up to J Roy 11 for making this video. This must have taken a year to edit. Really, that is so clever. And it was fun, wasn't it? Trump going Bollywood. He should do that. So I'm at the end of the show now. All I can say is I'm happy that I don't have to choose. I'm relieved that some of the American POLITRIXX remind me of days gone by. I sincerely hope that the people of the United States of America understand that their POLITRIXX directly influence global politics. I hope they will live up to their own slogan, land of the free and the home of the brave. Show us. Don't just sing it in your anthem. Show us. Show us that you really talk about free people and that there is hope for everybody who is brave. Just show us. I urge them to vote wisely, with their heart and with their head and in the interest of all of us on this globe, because that's the power that they have. So I hope the outcome will be good for all of us here in the world. I personally am definitely ready for some style and some kindness and some empathy and some humanity coming out of the White House. It's been too long since we've seen any of that. And I can only pray that America will stop creating and funding wars all over the globe, making money off of dead children. I really hope the United States of America will stop doing that. You got a huge country. Go build it up. Go build it up and stop messing up the rest of the world. Also, I really, really hope that Americans will come to their senses when it comes to guns. That AR-15 gun that nicked Donald Trump's ear. Why is anybody walking the streets with that? Have you seen the latest videos of people with their rifles slung across their shoulder like I sling my little handbag across my shoulder? Stop doing that. Really. Because you know what? You can't shoot people in the streets or in schools if you don't have a gun. So work on your gun laws, because it's ludicrous. We all understand where it came from the old days when all those red Indians were bullying you and you were afraid of their arrows. That's when United States came up with the gun laws that we still have today. Stop doing that. Normal people like myself walking the streets should not have guns. And stop exporting your guns to all kinds of countries where they are misused by everybody. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That's the one thing you should do to build up your country again. That's my advice for you. So a lot of work to be done, America, and the world is watching you. And PocaTV is on top of things, like I always am. So this is just giving you fair warning. That's it. My next show is going to be next week. It will be August the 21st by then. It's going to be on a Wednesday because it is the Wenzzzday Ting. And once again, let me remind you that on the last Friday of this month, I forgot to check the date. The last Friday of this month, I will be doing a PocaTV live with Shinai Gibriab, who will be explaining to me, because that's his line of work, what this world is coming to when it comes to AI. He knows all about it. He's been talking about it for years. And I want him to explain to me now what the world is going to be like with AI. So that's at the end of the month, the last Friday of this month. You can look it up for yourself. And next week on August the 21st, I'll be back with a Wenzzzday Ting with some current news topic that keeps me up at night, pondering what we're going to do about it. I might be by myself. I might be with DJ Conscious. We'll see how that pans out. So thank you all for joining me today. Thank you for sticking out with me so long. It's been quite a long show. DJ says, thank you for the show. Thank you. And Donna, yes, I know that you did your research, and I would love for the two of us to sit together one time and check out this Kamala Harris business. And let's do that maybe one time before the elections, Donna. We can compare notes, because I don't know. All I'm saying is what I found. And I know that you're no fool. So if you are adamant the way I'm adamant, we must talk about it, and we must show each other stuff and see what is the truth about this thing about Kamala Harris putting Black people in jail for cheap labor. All right, Donna, thank you for being here and for all your comments. You know, I appreciate you more than my daily lunch. You know that, Donna. So thank you for being here today. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to PocaTV on YouTube, or like the PocaTV Facebook page? Share this video if you want, but wait until I take off the beginning, the first 3 minutes. That will be tomorrow or the day after. Share it with your friends if you enjoyed it. And the more of us in this tiny little community, the more chance I will have one day in the future to make this my legitimate way of living. You would profit from it. I would profit from it. I would hire people to do all the work I do by myself. I'd be there over their shoulder telling them what to do it and how to do it. But you know, this could grow. We could make this more professional than I am able to do it all by my lonesome. So help me out with that. Like the page, subscribe, like the video, share it, all of that. Comment, keep commenting, and let's make this a legit job for me instead of a totally out of control hobby. Shall we do that? Promise me? Looking forward to that. I'm totally out of breath and I'm really hot, and I'm going to say, see you next week. Thanks again. Bye, everybody. Bye.
PocaTV.